And it's my honor and pleasure to invite now the Honorable Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Mr. Gonzalez. Sir, are you there?
I'm here, my brother.
How are
And
you?
all the best to you and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines overseas and all your listeners, Caribbean people, Americans, worldwide, everyone worldwide.
Sir,
Good evening, good night.
thank you. How are you holding up, sir? How are you holding up? You've got COVID, and now you've got volcanoes erupting on your beautiful island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. How are you holding up first?
Yes. Well, we are holding up. I personally, I have to be there and I have to be strong for everybody, and we are giving each other solidarity and strength, and in this Caribbean family too. Not only we are in unison here in St. Vincent and Grenadines, despite the occasional dissonance, but across the region, the Caribbean family has responded very well, and it's very pleasing and very touching.
Prime Minister,
As you said earlier in your program when you introduced it, very resilient people. But the situation is very difficult, very challenging, because as a consequence of the eruption, and it is ongoing venting of the ash from the volcano. Last night we lost electricity island-wide. It's been restored in part. We are 30% or so water provision because the ash has affected the water supply, so we have to cut it off. And we pump in from a well.
Wow.
And transporting to the shelters in trucks in.
Okay, sir.
So that's what we're doing. And of course, we have bottled water for drinking, but even that is running out because of the supply in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the demand is outstripping the supply in that regard.
Wow.
We are getting more water tomorrow, coming in from Venezuela, coming in from St. Lucia, coming in from Grenada. Well, some from Grenada may actually reach here tonight, but will probably be cleared at the port tomorrow. And then the next day from Trinidad and Guyana. So it's the water authorities hoping that they may be able to restore up to 50%, maybe if not tomorrow, Tuesday. But that all depends on what happens with the continued venting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a challenging situation, as you say, and we have to assemble people in shelters at the time of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It's a complex issue, but we are handling it, and we're providing in the shelters the food for people. We are also making sure that the medication is there for those who have the particular conditions, diabetes, hypertension, physical difficulties. We are putting some in hotels. We're putting some in guest houses in accordance with their condition.
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant women, for instance, and so on and so forth. So you're not going to expect it to go perfectly, and there will be hiccups and there's unevenness in the operation of the shelters. But by and large, people are getting their meals. They're able to survive, to keep things going over. I visited shelters yesterday. I visited today, and a lot of volunteers, and it's heartwarming to see that people coming together. Tomorrow we are having. We're not saying that people mustn't come to work, but a lot of people are not going to be able to come to work because they can't get to work because of the ash. People don't have water.
Sir, I want to. Now you hit on that point. I want to ask you a question. So, what percentage of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is damaged or uninhabitable? Is there a percentage of the island that no one can go?
Well, the northern, the country, the island. First of all, remember this: St. Vincent and the Grenadines consist of the main island, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, 32 islands in all.
Right.
9 are inhabited. In the top 1/3 of St. Vincent, that's known as the red zone. The volcano is in the north. So the northeast and the northwest are the people. You may have the odd few persons still remaining, hardy persons who have determined that they're not leaving for one reason or the other. There are not many of those. So the bulk of those persons have left, and in the yellow or orange, the yellow or green zone. You have red, orange, yellow, green. The lower half of the country is green. Then the part just above the green half, lower half, it's the yellow, a narrow band. Then you have a band which is orange. Persons have evacuated from the orange zone, but not everybody, depending on where in the orange zone you're located. The closer you are to the red zone, if you're in the orange, you will evacuate.
Right.
And so we have lots of people have evacuated into private homes, friends, families. Some have rented, if they're able to, guest house rooms and the like. But in the shelters, we have 50-odd shelters operational now, maybe 60 plus by the time I'm talking to you, because more and more the shelters are being operational. We have 100 shelters possibly. And then, as I say, persons are in homes. Well, one of the difficulties is this. If you take in a person's in your home, you're going to be able to help them for the next couple of days, and they will bring something to the table too. But on a prolonged basis, they're going to need food packages. So the state has to have them registered. And we're asking that they be registered so that we can organize food packages. This is something which separates and distinct from what you have to take to the shelters.
Okay, so sir,
Because
this is important right now. All the people that are listening to us right now, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, all over the world, what would you say to them? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to send money? Do you want them to send food? Do you want them to send a non-perishable item?
One of the things.
One second. And where do you want them to send these goods or this money? Is there a place that is safe that it can be done?
Individuals will continue to send. Individuals will continue to send to their money to their families because the money services. We have asked expressly that those services remain open and people will get to them either from the shelters or from homes or hotels and the like. Now, one of the things which we have to try and avoid is a multiplicity of people sending very small packages because you're going to create a lot of problems at the port. If we are doing things, it should be properly consolidated so that if an organization getting things together and have a container of supplies, but because the airspace is not open because of the ash, you're going to be able to send that by Amerijet. So that food and stuff like that and medicine and water is easily available around the region.
Okay.
We have a substantial amount of food still in the supermarkets in stock and the like, and vessels will come,
right?
And so that it's better they send the money to their families because the supermarkets will be open in the yellow zone and in the green zone, and where they'll be able to get stuff.
Okay. Sir, I'm curious. How long did you know that this volcano was coming or rumbling before it erupted? What kind of time did you have to get prepared for this, or you
The
had very little time?
no. There was an effusive or oozing eruption taking place since the end of last year. And what happened is this: it was oozing ash and steam and gases, and the material which was oozing up formed a big dome, and the dome grew up to an estimated size. The scientists estimated it in volume of 13 million cubic meters of material. So when a few days ago you had the explosive eruption, all of that dome, that material, went into the sky. And you have also a continuous venting of material. Fortunately, a lot of the material went to sea. That's why you notice that in Barbados, because of how the winds blow, that Barbados is covered with a lot of ash too. The airspace is closed. The international airport is covered in ash, and other places, and its areas are dark, not clearly as dark as St. Vincent, up in the red zone or the orange zone. But Grenada has gotten ash, St. Lucia has gotten, but Barbados has gotten the bulk of that. Because what goes up has to come down.
Right.
And the ash has caused the problem to the electricity, because the ash weaves down the high tension wires. And there's certain
I see. So the ash
and
waves down
branches,
just like the snow breaks branches and trees in
yeah.
the same concept.
And same notion. And then you have the ash breaking trees and branches and creating difficulties with the water supply, because you see and also the electricity. Our water supply is we have the catchment areas way up in the mountains. We don't pump water. The water comes to the homes by way of gravity fed. So they're way up in the mountains. So the water supplies, the catchment areas get contaminated by the ash. So you have to lock off the water.
Wow.
No. The electricity, both in water and electricity, people have been working hard to restore, and it has been done easier for the electricity because the ash is inside of the water. So that's the problem caused by the nature of the volcanic eruption.
Sir, has there been any deaths yet in St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
No. We have had no deaths, and we have had no injuries arising from the volcano. We have been able to move people out from the areas. The Coast Guard is still working. Even on the Atlantic side, on the northeast, down to today, we took out 13 persons who are very hardy. There are some persons who yesterday we took out 72. The day before we took out 13.
These are people who you told to leave but refused to leave. Now danger is very imminent. Now they want to go. Sir, Prime Minister, could I beg you, sir, please to hold on? I got to take a commercial break, and I'll be right back with you, sir.
Sure.
Okay, it's Caribbean Fever, 107.5 WBLS. You'll have to be under rock if you don't know what's going on in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Major volcanic activity, ash all over the place. Ash is now affecting other Caribbean lands like Barbados, Grenada, and we're hearing about rumblings. We have the Honorable Prime Minister on the line right now from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're going to take a short break, and we will continue our interview with Prime Minister Gonzalez of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
You know the man.
You just don't know.
And he's waking you up weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
Stop playing.
This is the home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. You best believe that.
It's our very own Steve Harvey.
Because I'm 64 years old. I've been seeing this my entire life. I am tired of this country expecting black people to be patient. We're working on it. You're working on what? Martin Luther King said in a speech one time, all we want is America to be what it say it is on paper. That's all we want. Just be what you say you is on paper. Yeah!
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on 107.5 WBLS.
At Democracy Prep Public Schools, their mission is to help students reach their full potential with a college preparatory education, a curriculum that empowers them to change the world, and most importantly, joy. Their schools in Harlem and the Bronx educate scholars K through 12, and they look forward to offering a dual language program at their elementary schools in the Bronx. Learn more and apply on their website at democracyprep.org. That's democracyprep.org.
I'm former NBA player Don Chaney. For years, I had carpal tunnel syndrome and joint pain. Then I started having heart-related symptoms like fatigue and palpitations. Turns out I had heart failure caused by hereditary transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare, life-threatening disease underdiagnosed in African Americans. If you're African American and over 50 with heart failure experiencing unresolved symptoms, talk to your doctor or visit DonKnowsHisHeart.com.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Today on Hey Culligan, buy to save. Here's a text from Devin in Denver. Hey Culligan, I'd love a water softener, but I don't want to pay for it. Devin, I can't help you there, but a Culligan high-efficiency softener can help you save oodles on energy and detergent, so the savings can be even greater than the cost. And I'm getting a mind-blown emoji followed by, yes please. Devin, the savings are already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
Research shows people remember radio ads that remind them of the past. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's an ad that'll really take you back.
Back in my day, I heard a voice from the radio say, Liberty Mutual customizes my home insurance so I only pay for what I need. I'm getting on in years now, but heavens to Betsy, there are some things an old fella like me just never forgets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-658-7055. That's 800-658-7055. 800-658-7055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you love a great deal? Then head to Burlington. They have amazing prices on what you need right now without waiting for sales or having to clip coupons. You'll save on decor for your home, everything the family wants and needs, plus new stylish spring outfits for you. All from the top brands you know and love. Your money matters, so make it go further. Hurry into Burlington and discover savings that will wow you. Burlington, love the deals.
Yo, man, this is Lionel Richie. I'm here with David Levy, man. Caribbean Fever on 107.5 WBLS.
Let's have one final test. Throw the switches.
It's time to rock with the king of the Caribbean swing.
Let's make it official.
It's official. Certified number one. Certified number one. Caribbean Fever. With the original rude boy, David Levy, on 107.5 WBLS.
When you see hypocrite and haters,
when I rise to pray. I thank the Lord for another day. I pray for the mass and the festival and to see another bacchanal. So when haters see you pass, jumping up and you playing your mass. When bad men see you and I cast them spell, just show them the sign of the cross and sing.
Amen, amen, amen. Caribbean Fever 107.5 WBLS. David Levy rocking you. We are honored, and it's a pleasure to have the Honorable PM of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mr. Ralph Gonzalez. Sir, are you there?
I'm here, my brother.
Okay, good. So let's talk about vaccinations and testing negative or positive being able to leave the country. So there's a lot of talk out there that persons who want to leave St. Vincent and Grenadines, that there are cruise ships there awaiting them, and they're saying that some people can only get on the cruise ships if they have vaccinations, and then you hear that you have to be tested negative. What are the requirements to get on these cruise ships? And on these cruise ships, can you stay and live on the cruise ship for the time that the volcanic activity is happening, or are you being sent to other Caribbean countries on these cruise ships?
Well, the cruise ships are not available for you to stay on. Okay. At first, it did appear as though it would have been possible for a few weeks, but that's no longer available. And the countries where we can send persons tomorrow, Tuesday, would require that you vaccinate before you enter the country. Grenada, Antigua, St. Kitts, and Dominica. St. Lucia had said that if you come there, you don't necessarily have to vaccinate, but you certainly would have to have your test. And if they want to vaccinate you, they'll vaccinate you there. I mean, those countries also have to protect their population. It's understandable. So that if the cruise ships, at first, the information that we received is that the cruise ships also wanted the vaccination to be done. That was relented. They relented on that. And that's the information which I had. But the countries to which you are going would want to have the vaccination.
Well, sir, it was brought to my attention. It was brought to my attention, sir, that just like other countries and other persons run other countries, that you have pleaded with your constituents of St. Vincent Grenadines to get their shots.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people did not want to get the shots because of whatever they're seeing, whatever they're hearing. Do you think now, since this
that's true. There is a measure of vaccine hesitance. We have done about 12% of the population have received at least one dose of the vaccine. But going around the shelters, I don't form the impression that many people want to go to other territories. They would prefer to stay either in the shelters, or some would like to go to the particular groups, like those who have injuries of one kind or another, those who are women who are pregnant and late-stage pregnancy, those who have particular kinds of disabilities, would prefer to stay here in St. Vincent, and either in the shelter or at a guest house or a hotel, because we have booked rooms, and some people are in guest houses and in shelters,
right?
And in hotels, so that I have formed the impression that though we have made available that particular choice, if persons want to go to Grenada, because the Grenadian government has kindly worked out with the University of St. George's University. They have 250 rooms at the dorms. I spoke to the chancellor of the university. Similarly, there's a hotel in Antigua about 250, 300 rooms which had been closed during the time of COVID. They'll be cleaning that up in order to accommodate persons who would like to go there. Same thing in St. Kitts and in Dominica, where their guest house is down in the Portsmouth area. I spoke to the various prime ministers. But I don't think you're going to have much of an uptake on at least not at the moment. Maybe if things deteriorate more,
right,
you may then get such a demand. Of course, the cruise ships can't hang around here all the time.
Right.
So that's the factual situation relating to
vaccines
the persons
and
going on the
COVID and all
cruise
that
ships
stuff.
and going.
I want to talk to you about.
It's an option.
Sir, go ahead.
It's an option which is available.
Okay.
It's an option which was available and still is available, but that option is closing because we have to tell the cruise ships either tomorrow or Tuesday that whether or not there's any uptake.
They gotta go
on this. Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the effect of a volcano. Now I'm looking at all the vegetation. You guys grow a lot of food in St. Vincent.
Yes.
I'm looking at all the stuff that has fallen into the sea. How does it affect the ocean? How does it affect the fish that surround that part of the ocean? Could this possibly drain the food supply of St. Vincent and the Caribbean, and some Caribbean islands don't grow any food? So how does that work? How is that going to work?
Well, I don't think that the ash is of the magnitude in the ocean to affect, at least that has not been drawn to my attention, to affect the fishing. Obviously, what the ash does is to affect the fishermen. Then the Deputy Prime Minister, whose constituency is way up on the northeast, my own is immediately below his. And I went up there yesterday in my constituency and reached as far as the Rabaca Dry River. But he went further up today. And he reported to me that there are areas that he saw of ash, no less than 12 inches.
Wow.
And he went into some farms, and the arrowroot is covered. You can't dig that arrowroot anymore, covered with ash. The ground provisions covered with ash. Breadfruit trees, their limbs are broken down. Some of the trees themselves broken with the weight of the ash. Coconut trees and the like. So it's a real problem with the agriculture, both on the northeast and the northwest, both in the red zone and parts of the orange zone. In relation to the animals, the cattle, the goats, the sheep, I was advised by the Ministry of Agriculture that we had tagged 90% of the animals. So that the idea was tag them, let them go, because you can't have them tied. Otherwise, they will simply die at the stake. And after we returned to normalcy, after the volcano settles down and people go back to the areas, you'd be able to identify those animals with the tags that they belong to Ralph, they belong to Tom, they belong to Eric or Mary. But I would expect that some of the animals would be a significant number of them would die with this level of ash.
Wow, that's so sad.
Because it's going to affect the grazing ground. So that's the story. The ash is a real problem. Now, the last night night before there was one reported instance of a pyroclastic flow. Understand this, my brother. Let me just say this. This volcano is not like that which you see what in the Philippines or what you have traditionally, you see Vesuvius and the like. You don't get the molten lava coming down the hillsides and the valleys. What you get is what is called a pyroclastic flow. Well, what is that? That's really the hot stones that come out from the volcano and the ash. And rather than they going up into the air and break up and come out as ash of different types, loose ash, some gritty ones, some of the material doesn't go up. And it falls on the mountain and on the perimeter of the crater. And the lower lip of the crater on the western side, on the northwestern side, it appears as though there was one pyroclastic flow. Well, you had a lot of that in 1902, and that killed a lot of people. What the pyroclastic flow with these hot stones coming out from the crater and with the ash, and it's like an avalanche. It's a pattern which it just rolls down, and if it meets anything in its path, it would move it, whether it's a house, crops, well, not naturally human beings, vehicles, and so forth. Fortunately, where that went in Larakai, nobody lives there. But that potentially could be a serious problem. But the seismologists, the scientists advise that is unlikely with this kind of eruption for that to be generalized. So it may be episodic in areas where you don't have human habitation, but it will, if any of it happens, it will scar the landscape. And actually, in 1902, when that kind of pyroclastic flow went towards the sea, you would think that it will cool in the water right away, but it had energy that it would ripple along, and if there were any boats, it will burn the boats, it will destroy the boats.
Wow.
For a particular distance that the energy takes it.
Wow. Sir, how do you feel, right? You had COVID to deal with. You got the volcano to deal with, and then, as the minister said from Barbados, and you got the hurricane season to deal with. How does Little St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that is dependent on tourism, how do you handle this scenario? How do you handle the situation? And as I'm going to interview a person from the University of West Indies, the effect of the schools being closed down from COVID to now this scenario.
Oh, it's a serious problem. We had planned to open the schools back tomorrow. Of course, you can plan that. The volcano did otherwise.
They had another plan.
But we have distributed to students at the community college, all the secondary schools, all the grade 6 in the primary schools, and most of the grade 5 classes already devices so that you can do home learning, distance learning, teaching and learning. And in another week or so, we are getting the other devices for the balance of the grade 5s and all the grades below that in the primary school. Mm-hmm. Of course, at the moment, with the problem with the water and in some cases the electricity, people are not going to be in the mood, certainly immediately, for any home schooling, home learning, distance learning, and the like. Right. So that's an additional problem. We have a lot of counselors in the country at the various schools, at the 60-odd primary schools and the 20-odd, nearly 30 secondary schools. And we have inside of the health system. And they have to be at work because people's minds are affected. And, of course, the students are being set back. It's a terrible thing, and particularly the children of the poor and the working people, particularly, they get worse affected, as you see in the United States and other countries too. All these are serious challenges, but we have particular policies and programs to address them. Now, we were talking at the moment, and rightly so, about how do we provide relief. But the reconstruction is going to be huge, because when people go back, you're going to have resources to assist them with their lives, with their livelihoods, until they get back the agricultural land in production.
Right.
That is going to be a massive, expensive exercise. It is something on which we are gathering the experts together. We don't know yet what all the impact would be in dollar terms, but it's going to be clearly hundreds of millions of dollars.
Wow. But, sir,
for the rehabilitation.
Sir, I thank you very
much. Their houses, listen, their houses, the roofs have caved in.
Wow.
Windows, doors, because of the weight of the ash.
Wow.
Look, my home village is 18 miles from Kingston. Kingston is in the southwest of the island. And my home village is towards the southern end of the orange zone. And I stopped in front yesterday of where I grew up as a boy, where my mom's house, well, my mom is dead, God bless her. The ash, when I put my shoe down, my shoe went down in the ash, and it came up close to the ankle. Wow. And that's outside of the red zone. That is, and in the red zone, at 2 o'clock in the day, it was dark like midnight.
Wow. And that's because of all the ash being spewed all over the place.
That's the ash. That's the ash. That's the effect of the ash.
Sir,
so you can imagine the amount of...
I got to ask you one thing very quickly.
Sorry, go ahead.
Before you go, listen. I asked you before, are you sure that there's no designated places that you guys, the government of St. Vincent and Grenadines, have designated, like shipping companies or a website that you want to go to some person who wants to make donations? Maybe there might be people listening that don't have family, but they just hear what's going on.
Yes.
In St. Vincent.
Okay. Well. There is an account for Nemo. I don't have the account number. It should be on the website. The National Emergency Management Organization, in where you can help. But NGO organizations are also helping, and reputable ones, and you can provide to them to Red Cross, Rotary.
And I know the University of the West Indies. Let's talk a little bit about the University of the West Indies now. Did you guys have adequate equipment to be able to project the size and when this thing was going to come? Did you have the equipment?
Oh no, we had a lot of equipment. The Seismic Research Center at the University of the West Indies. It's based in Trinidad at St. Augustine at the university.
Right.
From the beginning, the Seismic Research Center always monitors it from Trinidad. And we are, when they came, they brought a lot of additional equipment and the like.
Right. And
they have been doing excellent work. So we know what's happening, and that's why we have been able to save lives, and to save injury.
But sir, I
But-
thank
but-
you. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead.
No, all I was
And-
saying, I
and
know you
every
had to
day-
run. I know you had to run, so I was thanking you.
Yes.
But if you want to give me more of your time, I'm willing to take it. So go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that every day, the principal seismologist, geologist, Professor Richie Robertson, he, who actually is a Vincentian, but who is at the Seismic Research Center, he's here now. And he gives daily updates. In fact, on mornings at 8 o'clock now on the national radio station, he and I go on. He comes on, first he speaks, and then I come on afterwards.
Right.
He comes with the science, I come with the organizational stuff. I kind of Richie and Ralph Schooner.
I saw
Every
it.
morning.
I saw it. And you said with all this chaos going on, you got to have a little laugh now and then. So and you laughed when he was given the information. I saw it.
Well, we are Caribbean people. We have to be serious but keep the humor going still.
Yeah, but sir,
But I want to say to my brothers and sisters from St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Caribbean, keep the support, do the organization, help your individual families, help NGOs. Don't send a package of, 5 things, 10 things, because you're gonna create a lot of activity at the port. Without, it's better that the large containers come where you can simply handle them.
Okay, sir. You know what I'm gonna do. Sir, you know what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm gonna do, sir. We're gonna have the University of the West Indies on a little bit later. I see the problem. The problem is that you don't want people sending 5 packages and then another person send 2. Let's get a place that can take the packages, and then when they get a full barrel, they send off that full barrel.
And there are governments in the region are also organizing and sending stuff. Tomorrow, Venezuela, there's a vessel from Venezuela is going to bring over 20 tons of stuff.
Okay.
Then the next day, one from Guyana is going to come with a couple of 100 tons of stuff.
Okay.
Trinidad is sending. Barbados has sent already.
Right.
We are going and the vessel which is coming tomorrow from Venezuela, they're going to let us keep it here for several days longer to send it to the other countries nearby.
Okay.
To pick up
so you
stuff
can pick
now,
up food,
including water. Well, particularly water. Food stuff too, but particularly water.
Okay. Okay, sir.
All right.
I thank you very much for your time.
God bless you.
God bless you too, and I hope that everything works out for the better, and that you have a beautiful summer. I hope, and I pray.
Well, this thing is going to last for 3-4 months, I believe. Well, according to the scientists.
Wow. Well, you hang in there,
Yeah.
sir. And I thank you very much for your
Absolutely.
leadership in the Caribbean. Ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, give a big round of applause. That's the Honorable Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Can I have a Vincey song, please? Can I have a Vincey song before we go to commercial, please? Give me a Vincey song. Because I think that the Prime Minister might have some DJ skills. He might, he's doing a radio show now. He might want to do a radio show. Caribbean Fever 107.5 WBS. Let's go.
You're playing Beckett.
You know your thing, sir. You know your thing, sir.
Yeah, man, I know Beckett. And just before we came on, you were playing Fireman.
You have it, sir. You have it. So maybe, sir, you know what? Down the road, when this is all over, I will invite you to come on my show, and we do a show together maybe once a month.
Well, certainly I can do a show with music for you, too.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye.